Yo, what's happening? Part two of how to stay motivated for fat loss while dieting. Now, in part one, we chatted about inspiration and motivation while you're dieting for fat loss. Part two today, we're going to chat about intentions, how to set the right intentions while you're dieting, and discipline, how to develop and cultivate discipline whenever you are engaging in fat loss. Now, first things first, intentions and why they're important. So setting the right intentions is key. It's critical whenever you're dieting. Motivation essentially is your goal and what drives you to achieve your goals. But intentions represent how you're going to get from point A to point B whenever you're dieting for fat loss. Now, you can almost say as well that intentions is essentially a commitment to execute a plan of action while you're dieting. So, listen, I'm sure everybody at one point in time has said they're going to do this, said they're going to do that. I'm finally going to go and fucking get this fucking dream job I've always been talking about. I'm going to go and do this or that. I'm going to go and lose that 50 pounds I've always been saying I'm going to lose. It's one thing saying something, but it's another thing actually saying it and then going and doing it. So we all at points in our life may state our intentions, but you have to back those intentions up with plans of action. So you could say as well that my goal is to lose 50 pounds, but how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to lose that 50 pounds? Now, what you could do is you could reframe it and say, yes, I am going to lose 50 pounds, but I'm going to do it by eating well-balanced meals that are nutrient dense, that are satiating, satisfying, very filling, that provide vitamins and minerals that give me the energy I need to diet. And as well as that, I'm going to up the amount of water I drink. I'm going to get more steps in. I'm going to engage in strength training regularly. And that's how you do it. You're stating your intention, which is to lose 50 pounds, but you're actually backing it up with real plans of action. The intentions set what you're going to do, but you can also then say how you're going to go about achieving it by setting the relevant plans of action. The relevant plans of action must go hand in hand with your intentions. There's no point saying you're going to do something. You got to back it up. You got to set the right intentions and back them up. So you can almost say as well that intentions, another good analogy to describe intentions would be they are your roadmap to success. You got to follow the roadmap. You got to get from point A to point B, and then you've achieved your goal. So, I think a lot of people can fall into the trap of setting intentions but not actually knowing how they're going to go about achieving them. And at that point, it's just really wishful thinking. It's just, goals are just intentions. Without intentions, goals are just wishes. And this is why intention is not good for enforcing literally itself, because you still essentially have to work to meet your intentions. Again, going back to what I said earlier about wishful thinking, setting intentions and not actually knowing how you're going to go about achieving them is essentially wishful thinking, and that will not really serve you whenever you go and try and achieve your fat loss or even whatever, any sort of goal that you are striving to achieve. Now, the question is, what is intention good for and how can we boost it? So setting the right intentions is very good for setting up clearly what you want to do and also what you will not do or want to avoid whenever you're dieting for fat loss. So it's essentially instructions, you could say. Setting the right intentions It provides clear-cut, well-defined instructions on how you're going to go and achieve your goals. So how do we boost intentions? So having a clear plan to follow is probably the key thing. Like I touched on earlier, you can have the best intentions in the world, but if you don't have well-defined, realistic, specific, measurable, attainable goals and plans of action to help you achieve the goals that are related to your intentions, you might as well just shoot in the dark. Do you know what I mean? Or you're driving about, it's like driving about at night time in your car with no headlights on. Like it's foolish, and you won't get so far. So I would say as well, to boost intention, having a bit of wiggle room, but not too much, is also another way to boost it. So you might initially set, the goal of losing 50 pounds in the space of, 3 months. But if you fall short there and you don't hit it by the 3 months, well then the problem you might run into there is you might beat yourself up, and it might actually demotivate you as well. That's the problem you might run into if you set yourself really, really close, strict deadlines. If you kind of allow yourself a bit more time, a bit more wiggle room to achieve your fat loss goals, that would mean then that it won't mean that you'll be disappointed if you don't achieve them within that more narrow, strict time frame. You give yourself more time, more wiggle room to achieve your goals. It'll probably set you up to not only achieve them in a way that's sustainable, but you also won't run the risk of beating yourself up if you fail to meet them within the time frame. Now, the third way you can boost intention, and you're going to see a lot of overlap when it comes to this point, and it is to hire a coach or a professional who can show you the way, and who knows the way and has been the way themselves, and has that professional expertise to help guide you along the way. So a coach can help you set the right intentions, realistic intentions as well, when it comes to achieving your fat loss goals. Now, also as well, this is a key point as well, letting others in on your plan, so to speak. And what I mean by that is, fucking go out there and tell your friends, your family members, obviously your partner, your fucking extended family, like even people you work with, people on the street, what you want to do. You want to lose 50 pounds, you want to drop a couple dress sizes, you want to get shredded for the summer, bro. If you're a guy, you want your abs to be popping at the beach. Whenever you go and tell other people about your intentions, or you publicly state your intentions, see, the accountability goes through the roof, because not only do you have the internal accountability, now you have this added, I would say pressure, but it's good pressure in a way. You have this added external accountability where people who you've told about your goals are now like, right, fucking Linda just said she's going to lose 50 pounds, or John said he's going to get shredded for the summer. So, we're going to be watching and seeing why he or she achieves it. Now, it's not that they don't care, but, for the most part, people aren't going to actually be fucking stalking you and watching you to see if you achieve the goals. But if they're close to you, they'll certainly notice whether you have achieved your goals or not. So it is an added element of accountability. Now, to move on then to discipline. Discipline. So a thing that I often get asked, it's been put across to me as a question, is what does discipline represent to you, or how do you define discipline? And there's many definitions to discipline, but one of the ones that really stands out in my mind is discipline is the use of willpower to get you to meet your intentions on your goals. So I think that's a really good definition. And willpower is closely linked to discipline. The two terms are kind of interchangeable. So what is discipline good for? Discipline is good for closing the gap between motivation and intention on your low days. So those days where you feel like maybe not thrown in the towel, but you don't feel good about that, and you're doubting yourself, which by the way every single person does at some point in time whenever they're striving to achieve any goal or dream. You doubt yourself, you're not feeling the best, your moods went to shite because you're obviously dieting, and dieting at times cannot be fun because if you're in a calorie deficit, Anybody who has been in a calorie deficit watching this knows what I'm talking about. It can be tough at times because you're depriving yourself of calories and food. So there will be moments of doubt. There will be moments where you doubt the entire process and you think, can I even do this? Discipline is what gives you that crux to keep going. So I chatted about earlier in part one, motivation goes up and down like that. If you can imagine a graph, discipline can be that little crux that keeps your progress going linear rather than the waxing and waning that you see with motivation. Now, the thing is though, nobody is born disciplined. No one's inherently disciplined from the get-go. Discipline is like a skill. Like any skill, it can be developed and cultivated with practice, with consistent practice. And that's why if you apply it right and you cultivate it, it can get you through those down days. It can get you through those days where you doubt yourself, where you think, can I even do this? Can I lose this 50 pounds? Even at points where you're quite close to achieving your goals, but there's always that last roadblock or mental block that's stopping you, and you've hit a plateau and your weight stalled for like a week or even longer, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you think, I just look the same. But you gotta persist. You gotta be persistent. Persistently consistent is what I always say. And you will, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but you will achieve your goals no matter what. So it makes sure that discipline also ensures that your adherence, which is your ability to stick to your diet, is always switched on, which is what we want as well when we're dieting for fat loss. So what is discipline not good for? Discipline is not good for long-term sustainability. Now, you're going to probably be thinking, but you just said discipline is not like motivation and that it doesn't wax and wane. And yes, that is true. Discipline is more consistent and is more steady in terms of keeping you going. However, we're all human at the end of the day. No one is a robot or a machine who can be perfectly disciplined all the time. We have our ups and downs. So this will be discussed later. Now, passion and habits are the thing that can actually bridge the gap between discipline and those off days where whenever you feel like your willpower and your discipline is beginning to go away, habits and passion is what comes in and saves the day. But again, that's a topic for part 3 and we'll discuss it then. But for the context of this video, you have to persist, and that is fundamentally the key point. And discipline, like I said, is a skill. Now, you don't wake up in the morning and brush your teeth and think, geez, I'm feeling down today. I don't think I'm gonna go brush my teeth. You just go and do it because it's an ingrained habit, and you're disciplined, and you go and do it. And that can also be developed with practice over time. So that is also one of the ways you can boost discipline, is by practicing it daily, ensuring that your willpower is always being recharged, and it will make you a hell of a lot stronger whenever it comes to achieving your goals and push you further on. Another way you can boost it, like I mentioned earlier with intentions, is you can hire a coach, someone with that professional expertise who can push you to be disciplined, whether you like it or not, because having that external person to keep you disciplined, not only relying on yourself to be disciplined, but having that external person really does make the world of difference. And another thing, having your friends, your family, your partner all on the same hymn sheet, all on the same wavelength as you, that family support system, friend support system, partner support system cannot be overstated. The value of it can't be overstated. So they can really help push you as well on your fat loss journey. And just knowing and accepting that there's going to be peaks and valleys, there's going to be plateaus, but if you persist, you'll burst through them. Listen, that's part 2 of my series on how to maintain motivation while dieting for fat loss. Stay tuned for part 3. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all.